everyone.
Hands up, baby, hands up. Give me your heart, baby, give me your heart. Hands up, baby, hands up. Give me your heart, baby, give me your heart.
Okay, our idea, thank you. Our idea is to use all the talents in our group. And we have a superpower here, a super DJ. You wanna add up, come to us?
Copyright.
Yeah, I will sue you for this.
We went the easy way. We are dealing with education, and we called our project "We Change Through Youth Exchanges."
Social media.
What?
It's brand new.
Amazing.
Guys,
You didn't say that in our presentation.
I think the best way to move on is to catch ideas from people that are here. And you brought up we can change through youth exchanges, so why not? So it's
Competence,
catching
like
anything.
one stick to another, and cooperate and come together.
Correct. So our project is dealing with youth exchanges, and we were talking about, hopefully it will materialize, an exchange between Israel and Latvia. And when we talk about youth exchange, we talk about a group of youngsters, high school students or till the age of 19, coming to Israel, staying with host families, and then reverse. The Israelis will come to Latvia and stay with host families. And we went through the model. We were not that fantastic as the rest of you, and you, because you did it already on the computer.
We had only one Bible to work with, so everything's done on one Bible.
So, but we went through all the stages. Yes, it's full, you can believe. Education, fostering intercultural dialogue, building bridges of knowledge and understanding. And it was easy. I suggest everyone suggested something, and they decided to take the model that I'm doing as an NGO, and it's called our logo. This is the logo of the association I'm heading. It's called I and I, me and my I, E-I, and it's Israeli and European Youth Exchanges. So I and E-Y-E. So it's I, person in an I. And this is the logo. This is the logo of the association I'm heading. And what we're doing is youth exchanges. So we cater, our customers are young adults, 15 to 24. Customer relation, you want to read it?
Direct connection.
How are we going to get in touch with the customers?
No, it's not. We get the relationships through the social media. We present it in the Facebook, Instagram, and everything. We do that also with the direct connection, like with the messages in the email or the calls. And there is also that we are all the agents right now. We represent this exchange, like not this one, but change at all, and we talk about it when we go home.
Yeah,
we
you're
will
like
talk about-
ambassadors.
Yeah.
When you finish this youth exchange, then you go with your reflections back to your organizations, back to your houses, and of course, everybody is asking you like, how was it? Like, what did you do for those 10 days? Like, and you're a kind of ambassador for this thing. So
The whole
we
idea.
are hoping for good PR here.
Yeah, because after experience, when people come to these, the first years are very hard, because you have to create trust, you have to create an idea, you have to cater to the inner need of a young generation. Okay, what's the inner need? They like to travel, they like to take pictures and so on. To hear too much explanations, to do workshops, they forget it. It's better not to do it. But we are not talking about this model. We want to do a model that caters to the youth. And what they like, we have to hear what they like, and it changes with the years. You think, wow, what we are doing now is going to be valuable in 10 or 15 years. Forget it. I do it already some almost 30 years. It changes dramatically. In the last years, everything changes from one day in 2 weeks. It's different. The youth are thinking differently. They need something different. So the first years are difficult. We have to think what they want. And the first groups are going to be, let's say we start with Latvia, Israel and Latvia. Why should I go to Latvia? What is there in Latvia?
Forests.
Don't forget, people have less knowledge. So we have to convince and talk and so on. Israel is more known, but some are, well, here, Israel, bombs? Yeah, no, bombs, terror, and so on. So it's hard work at the beginning. But this is the idea. Why should we do it? What's the value propositions? First, your experience, like we experience here. Remember the 2 days? The first 2 days? Wow. I heard the evaluations, it was, Mamma mia, we sat in this place all day long. Like someone said, we are chained like prisoners to this place. But then, leisure came and with time, you meet people and so on. We learn, we get knowledge. We are creating relationships, contacts. Someone said a family, right? Contacts for life, hopefully. Unique way, because we are talking about living with a host family. We are not talking coming to stay in a hotel. Some of the girls here from the north have experienced it, and they know what's the meaning, right?
Yes.
It's entirely different experience. So if we did not, how do I go to live in this place? I don't know the family, I don't know the person, and then they come to us, okay? But when I started what I'm doing, the most important thing was to start with countries that we have a bad stigma about. For instance, Jews in Israel. Who would have thought that we should have a relationship with Germany? Or Israeli kids will go stay with German families. And the Germans will come to stay with Jewish families. I extended it, so it's Druze and Muslims and so on. But the beginning was with Jewish families. Now the same thing with Poland. I do it with Poland too. Now we should do it with Latvia. I'm sure I'll hear from some, oh, but the Latvians did this and this and this during the Second World War. So it's creating, we have to change the world. How do we change it? Here, you meet Cypriots and Greeks and Israelis and Latvians. This changes the opinions of people in our mind. So this is the thing. Key partners. Here, we came here, we found each other. Or I found him, he found me. Just an example. You just meet people. You build trust, you build a relationship, or you can find another partner. And we are not talking about Erasmus projects. We are talking about the youth exchange. What else was here? Key resources.
Financial resources.
You want to do it?
Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that is the whole beauty of this idea, because it's as close to the reality as possible. This is actually doable, and it's just a matter of us if we actually are ready to do it. So key resource, it's human resource to have the people who want, who are actually willing to go and participate. Financial resources, of course, majority of them are made up from travel costs, which are literally plane tickets and maybe some travel within the country. But the way
because they stay with hosts.
Also, and then how we also plan to tackle that is to attract sponsors, literally within the country. Places we want to visit, places where we want to go is literally to attract sponsors, to reach out to them, and I think that's a very realistic idea, and it's all doable.
We had a long discussion. How do we do the program? What do we do? Let's say, okay, we agreed, we have a partner, the idea, we settle dates, but how do we do it actually? The 10 days, we spoke about 7 days. 7 days in Latvia. What are the Israelis going to do 7 days in Latvia?
I will tell you.
We have a disco part person, she's going to drive them crazy.
Smash your 7 days.
Right! But no, honestly. So we discussed, it was a long discussion amongst us because it's not another tour. We have our goals, but the youth must not have the same goals. They want to have fun. They want to do shopping. They want to take pictures. But we want them to learn a little bit about Latvia. We want them to know how different the society is. Take advantage of our nature. We don't have rivers, forests, and so on. And the same thing in Israel. So we have our goals, but we have to listen to what the youngsters want. So it's not going to be full days of seminars and so on, or lectures, or Shmulik talking, or Guido talking. We are going to do activities that make them do things, plus leisure. So this is the general idea, and it shouldn't cost a lot of money. If we shall find sponsor, fantastic. If not, it's based on hospitality, so it's basically travel costs and whatever we are going to see in each country, if it costs entry fees or transportation and so on.
And also we can find some European Union foundations for it, of course.
There are countries in Europe like Germany. Germany is doing it with all its neighboring countries and with Israel. By law, they have funds to build the relationship with Poland, with Czech Republic, with France, and with Israel because of we are Jews. So they have special funds for it. So that with Germany it's easy, but with other countries it's not so easy to find funds, but it's possible.
It's possible. Connections.
Yeah. No, here, everyone here from Latvia, for instance, has something that can volunteer and help out. So the same thing, I have my volunteers in Israel.
Yeah. Okay. About financial, we did it, yeah?
Yeah.
Already.
No, you can continue.
She wants to add something to add.